What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I want to show you why it's a smart and good idea to invest in the stock market and how to avoid losing money there. So let's get started. First of all, I want to mention that many things I talk about come from the book Unshakable by Tony Robbins. It's a book that I read in the last couple of weeks. It's quite a thin book, only has 200 pages roundabout, and that's a book you can really finish within a couple of days, so maybe within a weekend. And in this book, it's a lot of advice about how to get financial freedom. And I think it's very useful to learn about how to get your finance fixed in a good way. On the other hand, I would also recommend you to read many more books about finances so you get more insight about understanding the topic. Not everything there is how I would handle my finances, but in general there's a lot of good advice. That's because he just interviewed a lot of people that are quite knowledgeable and are called experts in finance, like for example Warren Buffett, the owner of Berkshire Hathaway, or Jack Bogle. He's basically the founder of the first index fund, and these people are quite intelligent but also give very good advice, and they are probably not trying to take advantage from you. So first of all, I want to mention that it's your life, your money. So you need to be aware of what you're doing, and you need to be comfortable and making good decisions about your money. Nobody else is responsible. I also don't want to be responsible for your decision. I just think it is a good idea to invest in the stock market if you do it in the right way. And I want to show you with this video how I would do it, and give you some maybe new perspective, probably not so new perspective. So first of all, I think it's a good idea to invest in the stock market under certain conditions. So for example, I would only recommend you to invest in a low-cost index fund. Do not invest in single stocks. That's just too difficult to know what you're doing there. Probably a great idea is to invest in the S&P 500. This contains out of the 500 most successful companies of the United States. And you have a big diversification here. So you have companies from very different areas, tech or finance, energy, and many, many more. So you're not in trouble that you're really only investing in one company or one area of stocks. So therefore you avoid a lot of mistakes. Furthermore, if a company is failing, they just replace it by a more successful company, and therefore they always keep the index updated with the most successful companies. Also Warren Buffett recommended it. He said that you should probably invest 90% of your money in there and 10% in short-term government bond. At the end, how much you invest in there, it depends on you. I would just think it's a good idea to only invest money that you do not need in the short term, like in the next days, weeks, month, or probably even years, because that should be the money that is for the long term. And that's because there is some kind of volatility in the market. So first, why does it make sense to invest in the S&P 500? Because you probably get higher returns on your investments. If you look on the last 10, 30, 50 years, probably the return would be maybe around 7% in general. If you look from 1985 to 2015, like mentioned in the book here, the average return was a bit more than 10%. And that was much higher than compared to the average return for other investments, where they mentioned people only got a return of probably around 3%. You can also figure out how your returns were in the past, how the returns of other people were, but it's probably hard to beat the S&P 500 for people who do not have the time or the energy or the motivation to get more knowledge about finance. So therefore, this is probably the best idea for people like that to invest their money. The reason why you should only invest the money there in the long term and need to be a bit careful about the stock market is because there are always coming times when the market will also go down. So what we call a market correction is a decrease of the value of your money of at least 10%. And the truth is, if you look at the last 100 years, there will basically be a market correction every year. So for the 30 years from 1985 up to 2015, every year the market went down for around 14%. So therefore, it's also already quite clear why it doesn't make sense to invest money for the short term, or why it doesn't make sense to put money there that you probably need soon. Because every year there are times where your money decreases by average 14%. So if you need your money at that time, then it's a very bad idea to take it out of the market, because that's just a period where you're actually losing money at that moment. On average, the time where the market is going down is about 54 days for the correction. However, the next important message is that you need to know is that every 3 to 5 years, the drop of the market is even higher. So every 3 to 5 years, the market drops by more than 20%. So also the S&P 500 goes down for more than 20% every 3 to 5 years. So this is what we call a bear market. And this correction usually lasts on average then for 1 year, but it can be between 2 months up to 2 years, where the market is actually down, and quite high down. So that's also something you need to know, why it's not a good thing to invest in the market in the short term, because it can really sometimes go down in a high volume. So the market can go down sometimes maybe up to 50%. This probably doesn't happen more than maybe 3, 4, 5 times in a lifetime. However, it can and it probably will happen sometimes. And this is something you need to know, because if you lose 50% of your money, that is not something that you really want and that you're prepared for. So most people will probably freak out if this happens. And therefore, if you're prepared, maybe you can handle it. And if you can't, then the stock market is probably not the right place for you, and you should not invest there. After this, shocking and bad news about the stock market, the good thing you always need to remember is after every bear market, there has always been a bullet market. So every time the market went down, which can take time, up to maybe 2 years, then after that, the market will always go up. And like we said before, on average, the return is probably maybe around 7 to 10%. So in the long term, it's a really great investment, but you need to consider the downsides. And you also need to be able to stay in the market after you see all these big losses, and that's just what you need to know. The next important fact is that nobody can predict and nobody knows when the market will go down and when it will go up. It's not possible to predict this. The world finance market is just too complex. Nobody in this world has an exact idea about this, and therefore you should not trust anybody who talks about this topic and says that he or she would know about that. Yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you can benefit from that. I hope you see that it makes sense to invest in the stock market, but only if you invest in the right category, in the right kind of stocks, so the low-cost index funds, and also if you look for a long-term approach. Don't do that with money that you need in short time. And also do not invest in the stock market if you do not have the right temperament, the right mentality to also accept losses from time to time. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in knowing how much doctors earn in medicine, check out the video up here. If you want to see 5 ways to fail in life, check out the video down here.